Yes, I will present on the topic low-cost feed formulation for poultry and duck production. As you all know, the feed is a major component and important component of all living system, and particularly it constitutes about 60 to 65% of the cost of production of poultry. And this increasing demand for conventional feed ingredients is there. So that creates a problem for the poultry farmers because of the demand of this conventional feed ingredients. There is significant increase in the market price of these conventional ingredients. As you know, the maize, soybean meal, these are the conventional ingredients. So in poultry and ducks, mainly we use this commercial scale, we use these conventional feed ingredients, so it increases the cost of production. And further, there is importance of backyard poultry as well as ducks. As you know, in rural areas, this backyard poultry has make a dent, including the duck, because they are very adaptable to this situation, rural situation. They perform very well, and for small and marginal farmers, they are the backbone of their economy. It enhances their economic condition, and as well as it removes the malnutrition from the poultry farmers family, because it gives better family nutrition in low cost. But since feed is a major constraint in the production, we have to search these alternate feed resources to formulate low cost ration so as to reduce the cost of production of the poultry products, so that they will get better profit margin and they can improve their say economic conditions. So what are these alternative feed resources? They are like agro-industrial byproducts, like brewers' dried grains, cashew apple waste, broken rice, and some of the unconventional feed ingredients which I have practical dealt with, like cereals, bajra and ragi, poultry hatchery waste, legume green product, cowpea leaf meal, moringa leaf meal, and azolla. So first of all, we will discuss about brewers' dried grains. What is brewers' dried grain? It is a material that remains after the grains are fermented in the beer making process. So in this process, we use some of the cereals like barley, corn, rice, fermented, and most of the readily soluble carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, they are removed and brewers' dried grain. So when we collect the brewery waste, that contains about 75% moisture. So it is very high moisture content. We cannot keep it as such. So we have to dry it. And the economic condition to dry it is through sun drying. So when we sun dry this brewery waste to get the moisture percent below 10%, then we can store it for feeding for some time, like 6 months to 8 months. We can store it to feed the poultry. It is designated as brewer's dried grain. So the nutritional content of this brewer's dried grain, that is BDG, that varies when plant to plant. When different plants, different grains are used for the brewing process, like barley, wheat, corn. So that depends on which ingredient is used, and accordingly the nutritional content varies, and the proportion of the grains that is fermented during the brewing process. These are the conditions which affect the nutrient content of the BDG. Here that BDG we are drying in the drying yard. When we collect that a lot of moisture it contains, so we have to dry it in the drying yard. We have to dry it so that a lot of moisture drained away, and when we dry for 3 to 4 days continuously, the moisture content reduced to below 10%. So we can store it. This is the sample BDG. brioche dried grain. We can store in gunny bags for further use. This is the feed prepared with the BDG, brioche dried by inclusion of brioche dried grain. What is the chemical composition? It is, as I said, it is variable. It contains 90 to 93% dry matter, 11 to 30% crude protein, ether extract 7 to 11%, crude fiber 9 to 20%, total loss 3 to 11%, then NFE 27 to 69%, acid insoluble loss 1.3 to 2%, calcium 0.3 to 0.6%, total phosphorus 0.4 to 1%. So what I have done, I have formulated some practical lessons in Banraja chicks. Here, by replacing partially maize and soybean meal, I have included the BDG at a level of 20%. So here, what we have seen, the major target is to reduce the feed cost. So by including this BDG, we have reduced about rupees 4.5 per kg of feed. And it is seen that the profit margin has been increased by 13% compared to the control diet where only maize and soybean meal are used. So to coming to results of some other study. In broilers also I have conducted some trial where the BDG can be used at a level of 5% because broilers, they need very high protein and balanced diet. There we cannot include more BDG because of this high fiber content, and they cannot tolerate more fiber. So at a level of 5%, inclusion of enzyme, one fiber degrading enzyme at a level of 0.75 gram per kg. Here we can reduce the feed cost by rupees 0.38. And in this way, we can increase the net profit by rupees 2.16 per broiler compared to the control. Further, inclusion of 20% BDG in the diet of RIR chicks, Rhode Island red chicks, we can reduce the feed cost by rupees 1.78 per kg body weight. So these are some of the practical experiences I wanted to share as regards to this brioche dried grain, which is a agro-industrial byproduct, unconventional feed also. Then cashew apple waste. Cashew apple waste, the Anacardium occidental L, a scientific name, it is a promising feed source and which can be used in dairy cows as well as monogastric animals. After processing this fresh apple, cashew apple, we obtain a sugar-rich juice for human consumption. And the waste product after the processing, say this cashew apple is processed for fenny making. So after that fenny making process is over, the waste they just throw it out. So we can dry it and use it in pig and poultry feeding with very promising result. In 2010-11, this cashew production was about 6.73 lakh tons of raw cashew nut from an area of 9.53 lakh hectare. This is the production scenario in the year 2010-11, and in the 2007-2008, the of cashew apple waste was about 3 lakh. Huge availability. We can actually we can reduce the feed cost by using this. So this average weight of this fresh cashew apple is about 75 gram, and the dry matter content is about 10%. And the cashew apple waste is obtained after, as I told, after the extraction of henny, and it can be used as a cheaper source of ingredient by replacing costly energy sources like maize or wheat, etc. This is the fresh cashew apple. and this is the dried cashew apple waste, which can be used, which can be ground and used in the poultry ration. Here, some of the practical lessons have been formulated by including this cashew apple waste and cashew nut shell. The outer covering of the cashew nut, raw cashew nut, that brownish cover, when you remove it, we get the edible cashew nut. So that brownish portion I have just tried, explore it, its use in Japanese quail. So this is the composition, their chemical composition. Cashew apple has dry matter 18 to 22%, crude protein 6 to 11, ether extract 3 to 11%, crude fiber 8 to 11, total as 3.5 to 6, accidental plus 1.26 to 1.242, and nitrogen free extract 78.2%. Similarly, cashew nut shell powder that contains 93% dry matter, about 5% protein, 12% ether extract, 27% fiber. Because it is rich in fiber, it limits its use in the poultry. And nitrogen free extract about 55%. So coming to the ration formulation, we have included this cashew apple waste in the Banraja growing chickens diet about 10% level weight by replacing 20% of the maize. And in the Japanese quail diet, cashew apple waste has been used at 5% level by replacing 10% maize, and cashew nut shell that has been used at a level of 5% by replacing at a level of 2.5% by replacing 5% of the maize. So what is the result we got because of use of this cashew apple waste in the Banraja and Japanese quail diet? There was a saving of 0.32 rupees per kg diet due to inclusion of cashew apple waste at a level of 10% by replacing 20% of high energy ingredient, that is maize. And we saved about rupees 1.43 on the cost of the 1 kg meat. To produce 1 kg meat, we can save rupees 1.43 if we use cashew apple waste at a level of 10%. In Japanese quail, this cashew apple waste, by using cashew apple waste and cashew nut shell, 10% and 5% replacing maize, we can reduce the feed cost by rupees 0.3 and 0.2 per kg feed, respectively. So there is a reduction in cost of feed. Next is broken rice. Broken rice is we get through the milling of rough rice or paddy. It is a byproduct we get polished rice about 50 to 60%, bran 6 to 8%, and hulls. Broken rice is a potential unconventional energy sources. Usually it is not used in commercial scale, but when you use low cost diet, we can include it in our backyard poultry ration, duck ration. So it is a substitute for high energy like maize or wheat to reduce the feed cost. When feed cost is reduced, we can reduce the cost of production. We get better profit margin. And another important character of broken rice is it is not associated with the aflatoxin. So, which we reduce the pose, we reduce the threat to the survivability of poultry and other livestock by including the broken rice in the diet. The chemical composition, the diameter is 88% to 95%, crude protein 7 to 11%, ether extract 1.4 to 1.5, crude fiber 0.7 to 2.5%, total as 0.3 to 3.3%. And NFE is 81 to 90%. So we can formulate ration for Banraja growing chicks with inclusion of broken rice at a level of 15% by replacing costly energy source, that is maize, at a 30%. We can replace 30% of maize by broken rice. Here we get a saving of rupees 1.53 per kg feed by inclusion of 15% of broken rice in the diet of Banraja chicks by replacing 30% of maize. Further, this broken rice can be very well used in the white pecking layer duck diet. Here we have replaced the wheat completely. We are usually using in the control diet 55% of wheat. But in this practical diet, when broken rice is used, we use completely broken rice only without wheat, 55%. Here, 100% wheat can be replaced in the white pecking dog diet, layer diet, in the second year of laying without any adverse effect on the performance. And there is a cost reduction of rupees 3 per kg feed due to inclusion of broken rice. Then another important this ingredient is cowpea leaves. This cowpea leaf we can use in the poultry, backyard poultry feed to reduce the feed cost. So it is a fodder legume crop grown throughout the world. Everywhere it is available. We use all the stages of its growth, including the vegetables. And the harvested green cowpea leaves that can be used in the poultry diet. Here it is the leaves, picture of the leaves you see, we can use it in the ration formulation of poultry. The chemical composition cowpea leaves, dry matter 12%, crude protein 20%, ether extract 1.2, crude fiber 15, total loss 12%, NFE 52%, acid insoluble loss 0.9%. So one experiment was conducted in the Banraja laying hens. Here what we did, we have replaced the whole diet, whole ration of the standard layer ration by 40 and 50% level by including 75 gram this cowpea leaf per hen per day and 125 gram per hen per day. Here in the first, the group 2, we have replaced 40% of the layer ration, that is 50 gram we have replaced and 75 gram was included. Here 50% ration was replaced, 62.5 gram ration was given and cowpea leaves 125 gram per hen per day was given. So what was the result? Here in the group 2, where 40% of the whole ration was replaced with cowpea leaves, we got comparable egg production and FCR compared to the control diet. And the feed cost to produce dozen egg was also significantly lower in this case, where the whole diet was replaced by 40%. So we saved about 40% standard layer feed due to inclusion of cowpea leaves. And to produce a dozen egg, the cost reduction was rupees 13. 13 rupees we saved per dozen of egg. This is a very significant amount is saved because of cowpea leaves, inclusion of cowpea leaves in the diet of Banraja laying hens. Then this unconventional cereals, bajra, pearl millet, they can also be used in the ration of the backyard poultry. The coarse cereals, bajra, it is also called as pearl millet, and ragi, it is finger millet. These coarse cereals, they are used to reduce the feed cost as well as to reduce the pressure from the maize, use of maize. Because maize availability and price cost, if you compare, it is always increases the cost of the feed. So when we use these unconventional cereals, we reduce the cost as well as dependency on maize. So this is the chemical composition. They also comparable amount of crude protein they contain. If maize contain 9 to 10%, this bajra contains about 8 to 10%, and ragi contains 8%, about 8%, and NFE contains 74 to 84%, 77 to 84%. They have appreciable amount of metabolizable energy, kilocalorie per kg. Here in the case of Bajra, it is 2,900 kilocalorie per kg, and Ragi 3,280 kilocalorie per kg. So they have got very good, they are rich in nutrient, these coarse cereals. So they can be very well used, and we used it in the Gramapriya white laying hens, and they completely replace the maize without any adverse effect on their production. But we get reduction in the cost of the feed, which is our aim, motto. And we get here also, because of their high calcium content, I think the production of stronger cell we get the additional advantage. Here only ragi was used in Gramapriya cheek diet at a level of 50% by replacing 50% maize. We what result we get? We get that feed cost was reduced by rupees 1.17 per kg body weight. Gramapriya white chicks when it was the cereal grains were used. Then coming to the poultry hatchery waste. Poultry hatchery waste, it is the product left over from the poultry hatchery when the hatching process is completed. So this, what it contains? It is composed of dead chicks, infertile whole eggs, and the cells of the eggs from which chicks were hatched out. That remaining cells also are part of poultry hatchery waste. Usually what happens, this poultry hatchery waste, they usually incinerate it, or they take it to sanitary landfills where pits are dug, and they were filled in that pit to make compost and use it as a fertilizer. So since it has very high nutrition content, we can explore its use in poultry feed also. It contains, but there is variable amount of protein, 22 to 44%, ether extract 14 to 30%, crude fiber 0.9 to 8%, total loss 14 to 40%. It is a very calcium rich source, 7 to 22% calcium. Total phosphorus 0.4 to 0.8%. Here we have formulated practical diet in Banraja chicks, replacing the whole fish meal. Suppose we are using 8% level fish meal. In place of fish meal, poultry hatchery waste meal was included in the ration. Here, in the feed cost, there was a saving of 0.97 rupees per kg feed, and the net profit was increased by 12%. Then another important feed ingredient unconventional is Moringa oleifera leaf meal, which is a very rich source of carotene, ascorbic acid, vitamin A, B vitamins, minerals like calcium, iron, copper, sulfur, etc. Critical amino acids. One good thing is there in cadmium. Since it is a perennial crop, we can get this moringa leaves throughout the year. Harvest, we can harvest throughout the year. See the chemical composition: crude protein 27%, ether extract 3.7%, crude fiber 18%, total loss 11%, acid in cellulose 0.37%. And calcium, it is a rich source of calcium, 2.2%, and NF is 39%. One very important information I wanted to just give you from some literature source: this Moringa oleifera leaf, it contains 7 times more vitamin C than oranges, 10 times more vitamin A than carrots, 17 times more calcium than milk, 9 times more protein than yogurt, 15 times more potassium than banana, 25 times more iron than swan. So it is a very rich source of nutrients, you can call. So I have formulated practical diet in the Banraja laying hens. It has been used at a medicinal, as a pharmaceutical source at a level of 0.5% we have used, but because of so much of this positive points, positive nutrition, it has reduced the egg cost from 27.98 rupees to 22.33 rupees. There is a cost reduction about 5.6 rupees per dozen egg. So next is Azola. Azola production in silpoline pit for feeding in ducks. In the silpoline pit, we can produce Azola. What we do, we can dig a pit of size 2 meter into 2 meter into 0.2 meter, and we spread the silpoline sheet of dimension say 15 feet by 12 feet, spread it over that pit, and that projection from all sides, they are fixed on their bond by lining brick throughout that entire area, so that it cow dung, 30 gram of superphosphate and 10 liter of water. We made a slurry, and slurry is poured over that fertile soil which we spread earlier. And after that, we add more water in that pit to make it to the level of 10 centimeter. So after that, we inoculate about 500 gram of pure culture of Azola in that pit, and after say 10 to 12 days, the pit is filled with Azola. We can harvest it regularly from that pit, and we can feed either raw to the duck, or it can be sun dried and ground and prepare the ration and feed to the duck. And in this process, we can use 20 gram of the superphosphate and 1 kg of cow dung every 5 to 7 days to get the Azola production regularly. And every 30 days, we can replace 50% water. This is the maintenance of the Azola pit. Here we get 175 gram per day from a square meter area. When we go for a bigger say pit like this, 7 meter length, 5 meter wide, and 0.2 meter depth, we get the similar kind of production we get. But since bigger pit, we get more mass of Azola from here. So Azola has a very good nutrient source. It contains about 25% protein, ether extract 3.5%, fiber 12.8%, and total loss 15.8%. Here we have conducted some experiment in the Peking dogs, white Peking dogs. In the control diet, we took 250 gram per dog per day, the standard dog layer feed, and in the treatment group, we reduced this layer feed by 20%. We included 200 gram fresh Azola per day per dog. In the morning time, it was fed. That experiment was conducted for 45 days, and here there was improvement in this all important parameters like FCR, quality, performance, efficiency index, and another thing is yolk color was improved because it contains carotenoid pigments as well. Economics of feeding, we calculated the cost of this first treatment where only feed was layer feed was given, and in the second feed where Azola was given, including this layer reduced by 20%. So we found that there was a saving of about rupees 0.55 per dog per day because of inclusion of Azola in the fresh form. Similarly, in the crossbred dog, 20 weeks crossbred dog, this khaki male, Pekin female cross, that was taken here with 2 groups were there. We feed the first group 160 gram dog feed per day, in equal divided morning and afternoon. And in the second group, we feed 100 gram of fresh azolla per dog per day in the morning time, and in the afternoon time they were given 120 gram of dog feed per day, where the amount was reduced by 25% compared to the control diet. The experiment was conducted for a duration of 45 days. Here we got also very good result. Egg production was increased significantly, egg weight was increased significantly, there was significant reduction in feed cost, FCR was also significantly better, the feed cost also reduced. And as it should be, the color will be changed because of carotenoid pigment, we will get a very good orange color yolk, which is very appreciated by the people. Color of the yolk, orange color yolk is appreciated by the people, and they are interested to buy this type of egg where they found this color yolk. Here, when we calculate the economics, we found that in the feed cost was calculated in the first group, it comes to 188 rupees. Total period cost, 45 days cost 160 gram feed per dog per day. For 45 days, total they consumed about 7.2 kg, and feed cost rupees 26.12 per kg. When we multiplied it, we got the total cost during 45 days rupees 188. Then feed cost for the treatment group, we calculated first the cost of the feed, then cost of the azolla. So total when we added it came to 158.15. So when we subtracted this second one from first one, we saved about rupees 29.91 for entire duration for a single dog for 45 days. Rupees 29.91 was saved. So per day per dog, we saved about rupees 0.66 by feeding azolla, fresh azolla to crossbred dogs. So we also tried this azolla, dried form of azolla in khaki Campbell dogs, layer dogs. So here there were 3 groups, including the control group. The treatment group, first group we used 5% dried azolla, and in the second group we used 10% dried azolla by replacing the soybean meal protein. And all the diets are made isonitrogenous and isocaloric, and we conducted this experiment for 80 days period. And each treatment we have 3 replicates and 5 playing ducks per replicate. Here, this is the composition of the experimental diet. Here in the first group we use wheat, soybean meal, de-oiled rice bran, fish meal, shell grit, etc. But azolla, it was the control diet. Then in the second group we use 5% azolla by replacing portion of soybean meal and making it isonitrogenous and isocaloric. Similarly, third group we use 10% azolla by making it isonitrogenous and isocaloric. So these are the this is the composition of the experimental diet. Then chemical composition. This is the analyzed portion. Analyzed portion. The diets contain about 18% protein, ether extract about 2%, crude fiber 4.2, 4.3%, total loss 9% about, and NFE 65%. And this is the composition of azolla, which I have already told. Then calculated part, about 2600 kilocalorie per kg. This is the energy, 4.2% calcium, available phosphorus 0.55, lysine 1.0908%, and methionine 0.4%. So this is the chemical composition. Then coming to the result, what is there are different parameters. We see the body weight is increased significantly because of this azolla powder 10% level when you use. But other parameters remain more or less similar. without any significant difference. All dog egg production about 76-75%, feed conversion to about 2, performance efficiency index 73. Although there is a difference, numerical difference, but it is not significant. Net feed efficiency about 44, 45. You can see there is a cost reduction also. Comparable to control, the Azola group cost has been reduced. Here, the egg quality characteristics, if you see, the shape index increased significantly, yolk index, hog unit, cell thickness with membrane and without membrane, both are significantly better in case of higher in case of Azola group. And the cell percentage is also significantly higher in the Azola group. So egg quality has been improved because of inclusion of dried Azola in the feed. As we expect that there will be change in Azola, the egg color, because of inclusion of Azola, that is orange color of yolk, which is appreciated by the consumer. So we can conclude here that when we include this dried Azola at the rate of 10% in the Khaki Campbell layer ducks diet, this is beneficial in terms of improved egg quality particularly, and a reduction in the cost of egg production, improvement in the yolk color, but simultaneously there is no adverse effect on the production performance. And there was a saving of about ₹3, 2.92 per dozen egg production when we include this 10% Azola in the diet. So thank you all for giving me a chance to present on this topic. Now we can discuss. You can share your views with me.